Given that this is one of the earliest 2600 games to be released, it comes as no surprise that Air-Sea Battle is an overly simplistic, shoot everything that moves game. Despite the simplicity, there's a fair amount of variety to be found here. There are 6 different ways for you to blow things up, and several different variations of each game type. Granted, the differences are somewhat minor, such as your missiles being guided, and there being random objects like blimps getting in the way of your shots. This doesn't add a lot to the game, but it is a nice change of pace, albeit a small one. The vast majority of the game types put you head-to-head against a friend. A couple of the games puts the computer in charge of the other gun. Of course, the AI is extremely limited, so don't expect anything more than a constant stream of unaimed shots coming from your opponent. Each of the 6 game types play out in the same general way. There is a single screen with theme-specific ships moving along a predetermined path at varying speeds. On the opposite side of the screen, you and your opponent are set up to unleash volley after volley to see who can hit the most targets in the time allotted. The game lasts precisely 2 minutes and 16 seconds, per the manual, or until someone gets 99 points. And no, I haven't the foggiest idea why the timer is 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That said, let's look at the different varieties of gameplay. Anti-aircraft. You are in control of an anti-aircraft gun and must shoot down everything from large planes, small planes, and tiny helicopters that are flying above you. In the more advanced game, you will have giant blimps flying just above you that soak up shots yet give you no points. You can't move your gun, however it can be aimed at 3 different angles. Submarine. You are in control of a submarine, and you must blow up every manner of seafaring vessel. Unlike the anti-aircraft game, you can move your sub left and right across your half of the screen. With the guided missile option, your shot follows you on your journey across the screen, giving you the opportunity to correct your shot. Shooting gallery. This is by far the creepiest gameplay variety, since not only do you have to shoot ducks and bunnies, but occasionally the screen is filled with giant smiley faces. I'm not sure why they're smiling so big, but I'm sure that they will haunt your dreams. Polaris. You are in a fast-moving submarine that is in constant motion at the bottom of the screen. While it is impossible to stop, it is possible to speed up or slow down your ship, giving you the chance to time your shot to hit the aircraft above. Depending on which player you are, your opponent will either be directly above or below you. Bomber. This is the exact opposite of Polaris, as instead of subs you are in bombers flying above. Polaris versus bombers. The most interesting of the game types. One player is in a bomber above, while the other player is in a sub below. Same basic concept, but the only time you get to fire directly at your opponent. While there are much better games on the 2600 to get your kill-em-all fix, this is a good head-to-head tournament-style game. So if you're looking for another game to add to your Atari Battle Royale, or just want to see what cutting-edge gaming was like in 1977, this should be on your list. As one of the original releases on the 2600, Air-Sea Battle has some of that wonderful early painted artwork on the cover. The manual is pretty straightforward, giving a good breakdown of the various game types. Since it was an original release, the game appears in multiple catalogs throughout the years. The game was also released under the Sears Telegames brand, but with a different title, Target Fun. This is one of the most unforgiving titles on the system. If you don't begin with absolute perfection, then you will drown and must reset the game to give it another shot. Not only that, but you must time your start at the precise moment, or else you have virtually no chance. Of course, once you get past the opening section, the rest of the game is a complete and total cakewalk. The setup is that you are on board a disabled nuclear sub that is taking on water and on the verge of going under for good. The only chance you have for survival is to collect 2 keys on each level, which will open up an airlock, allowing you to move up to the floor above you, staying 1 step ahead of a watery grave. Along the way, you have to leap over bulkheads and loose rolling torpedoes that can, and will, keep you occupied long enough for the water to catch up to you. The bulkheads have very poor collision detection, so even when it looks like you have cleared them, they will catch you on the corner and force you to take a couple of steps back to give it another go. The torpedoes, on the other hand, will simply roll you over. Granted, this isn't a one-hit death, since it doesn't technically kill you, but due to your extremely tight schedule, it might as well be. What makes this game so infuriating is that you only have 10 seconds per level to collect both keys, dodge the obstacles, and trigger the elevator in the airlock before you drown. While this sounds like a lot of time, it really isn't when you consider that on the opening level, you have to do a fair amount of backtracking. Even with a flawless run, you will still trigger the airlock with a second to spare. On the easiest level, there are 5 airlocks to trigger, and on the harder level, there are 10. There is no scoring in Airlock, only the satisfaction of making it to the top of the sub. Of course, the ending shot is you celebrating at the top of a sinking submarine, which, given the fact that the vessel you just escaped from is taking on water at an alarming rate, and there is no rescue ship in sight. It just means you get a brief moment of calm before you sink into the shark-infested waters below. At least the guy can celebrate the fact that he probably won't drown. The cover art on this Data Age release looks like a combination of Tron and Mega Man trying to escape from this sinking submarine. The manual is pretty lackluster, with just some basic info on the game. Airlock also appeared in a Data Age catalog, reusing the same cover artwork for it. Despite the third-party release, it is a fairly common title for the 2600. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to see more Game Encyclopedia videos.